Welcome to Desk of Lady Ada.
Hello, fellow Earthlings. Here is another broadcast of the Desk of Lady Ada from the spaceship we call Earth. It's me, Lady Ada. Voila, my desk. And with me is Mr. Lady Ada, who's on camera control and piloting his vessel. Tonight we're going to be working on a future project. This is a project for Noah and Pedro, who do our 3D Hangouts. Quite a while ago, actually, we made a plan to create a 3D printed prop that looked just like the original Star Trek communicator, like the old Kirk and Spock Star Trek, not like the movie, like the old TV show. And they had these communicators, which was a way for them to talk to each other, and they're kind of a little bit like cell phones. And then we saw that there's like a fancy new prop that's being made that's actually like a commercial prop or whatever. You'll be able to buy it, and it simulates it's like a Bluetooth headset for your phone. So you pair it with your real phone, and then you can use the communicator as like a Bluetooth headset, which is all good and fine. But wouldn't it be cooler if the communicator itself was a cell phone? Yeah, I think so too. So I thought, let's design a communicator badge that uses 3D printing, and then inside we're going to put in a FONA, which is our cell phone modules that we have at the Adafruit shop, and basically make it an all-in-one phone that has like voice. When you press a button, it'll actually like call a friend, and you can receive calls, and that way you'll be able to communicate with your fellow space travelers. So let's go to the computer first, and I'll just show off the email that I got. Bleep. Okay, so this is the email from Noah and Pedro, and they emailed me a couple days ago, and they're like, hey, okay, so this is where, we've got to a point where they have the basic structure ready, and we're going to be using a Feather FONA. So this is basically an Arduino compatible, an Atmega 32U4, plus a cell phone module, a FONA 800, all together in one circuit board. And that's this part here. And then it also has a battery. You need to have a big battery because it's like a cell phone. And then here's the antenna. It won't actually be underneath the battery. It'll probably be like alongside here. There's a little flexible piece here. And then there's a buzzer as well. And the buzzer it's going to vibrate when you have an incoming call. Or, I don't know, something like that. And then there's a couple spots here for buttons. You can see the little tactile buttons here. There'll be little button caps that you'll be able to use to tell the Feather FONA what you want to do. You have to have a microcontroller involved because it has to read the button presses, get the cellular module up and running. The cellular modules, even though they are cell phones, they don't have like a display, buttons, and volume knob. You have to actually do that all yourself using AT commands. So let's go to the overhead, and we can take a look at the Feather. So this is a Feather FONA. It's got that Atmega 32U4 over here, and it's got this plastic. Oh, hey there, cat. Ha ha. Cat break. Yes. You came over here, so it's okay to do this to a cat. Space cat. Alien being. Okay. So this is the Feather 32U4. It's got the cellular module over here, and I have a speaker soldered onto it. There's little holes over here that you can solder in microphone and speaker, so I already did that. I got the speaker over here, and then a little miniature electret mic. So this is a very, very small microphone. It's just like a microphone you'd find in your phone. And the speaker, it's kind of a big speaker, but it works fine. Hey, no, cat. That's like the worst place to go. And then here we have that antenna, and then I've got my own battery attached over here. And then this is plugged into USB for now while I program it using the Arduino IDE. Can we go to the computer? Okay. So, I'm going to start by running the FONA Feather test. Okay, hold on. Let me just close all my multiple windows. So this is just running the Arduino IDE because it's Arduino compatible. And this is the program that basically comes with the FONA library that you can use to run some basic tests. So let's upload the basic test. Okay. And when you open up the console, you'll see when it first starts up, it says, okay, I'm going to try to talk to the module. And so it sends these AT commands. So if you've been around for like as long as I have, you probably remember having a modem when you were a kid, and you use like ATDT or ATH0 or all these other AT Haze commands. So it's the same commands that are used by this cellular modem. You can send it AT to get its attention. That's actually what AT stands for. ATE0 for don't echo. ATI for information. And then there's all these special commands like ATGSN that will get you the INI, the SIM card, or the cellular module, AT plus CFGR, which is a configuration thing. And these are all documented in the SIM800 AT command manual, which is massive. I mean, it's like hundreds and hundreds of pages, 300 pages of every single AT command, like AT SIPSend, or AT ICFF, which does something, or ATGOI, Request Global Object Identification. What is that? I don't know. But all sorts of different things that you can use if you need to query or request that it does something. Everything from, you know, setting the volume to telling it to dial a number to, you know, whatever, asking what the battery voltage is. So for example, let's start with ask it, you know, what is the battery voltage? It'll ask it ATCDC, and it will reply 0, 100. This is, you know, a couple different status points, but basically you can read the voltage, 4,207 millivolts, and the second number is percentage of charge. You can also do stuff like send an SMS, hang up the phone, or pick up the phone. All these different commands that you can use to tell the module what you want to do. So, although this is a very handy program, it's kind of more complicated than I need. This kind of does everything. Like, for example, I can tell it to play an audio tone. And it'll play a little tone. I can change the volume to 80. Make a slightly louder tone. Okay, so that's great. So, you know, we're talking to this thing. We can make phone, you know, we can send SMSs, make phone calls. But we don't want to have this program where we have to tell it, like, command things. Instead, what we want to do is make our own sketch, which will just be like the sketch that does the communicating. So let's make a new sketch, and we'll call this communicator. But we're going to grab a bunch of the Feather FONA stuff because, like, you know, it's mostly what we need to do. So let's pretty much grab everything up to like here. Okay, so the only thing is we don't need support for like the Dewey. We're going to use software serial, so I'm just going to comment this stuff. Remove it. Remove this. I'll keep this. Instead of saying FONA basic test, I'm going to say Trek communicator. So I know that this is the program I'm running. And then I'll try to find the FONA. If that's okay, I'll say, okay, FONA found, and I'll say what type, and that's fine too. And then I'm going to create a interrupt on number 4, and that's the ring input. So there's actually a pin that will go low if there's an incoming call. So we're going to use that later on. Right now, we're probably not going to get to that part, but it's still good to set up that interrupt just so I know it's going to be up and running. And I don't need any of this stuff. I'm going to skip this. Basically, this is pretty much done. And then loop. Nothing in the loop yet. Okay, so once you've talked to the FONA, what you have to do is then, you can't just make phone calls. You have to actually wait for the FONA module to say, okay, I'm ready, like I'm on the network. And to do that, you can use a helper function called get network status. So this is, let's just paste this in here. You just call FONA get network status, and it will tell you a number, and then that number, basically means what it is that is going on. Is it waiting for, because when you turn on your phone, it takes a few seconds for it to connect to the cellular network. So let's do while one. So just basically forever, we're going to query it for the network status. And if n equals 1, that is registered, break. That means, okay, that means we're ready to actually do stuff. And then we'll serial println ready to call. Because if you try to make a phone call before the network is ready, it's just going to freak out. So make sure you wait in a loop. So make sure we got our right COM port, and then let's upload this new code. I'll put the serial console over here. Okay, try and talk to it. Okay, found it, and it's actually already on the network because it's been plugged in all this time. So luckily it's ready to call. This is great. I'm actually going to do something. I'm going to have it play a tone because I'd like it to indicate to the user somehow like, hey, I'm ready to make a call. So there's a function where you can play a tone called play Toolkit tone, and I'm just going to play that here. And I'm going to play tone number 1, which is just a little beep, basically. And that's it. Pretty straightforward. And then what I really want to do is, if you remember from that email, Noah and Pedro said, okay, so we want to have 3 buttons. 1 button to make a call, 1 button to hang up, and then 1 button to answer a call. So let's start with the making a phone call. So we're going to create a new button called call button, and I'm going to make it analog 0. And then I'll just define the other buttons as well. There's going to be hang up button, analog 1, and answer button, analog 2. So these are the 3 tactile buttons. When I get over here, I will set these up as inputs with pull-ups. So call button is an input with a pull-up, hang up button is an input with a pull-up, and answer button. All right, so now that we got those buttons set up, we'll wire them up in a second. What we want to do is, let's start with just the hang up button, because that's like the safest one. So if we digital read 0, which means the button is pressed, because remember it's pulled up, naturally it's 1. When it's 0, it means it's pressed. If it's low, we're going to do like a teeny bit of debouncing. Just give it a delay of 10. This is like super, like discount 5-cent debouncing, but it doesn't matter. We're making a pretty simple project here. And then we're going to wait while it's low. Just do nothing. Okay, so now the button is released. And then say, hey, hanging up the phone. And then we're going to call the hang up function, and which is just basically called FONA hang up. Very simple. And that will hang up the phone for you. It'll send that AT command. So that's that. Okay, that's easy. So the next one we want to do is the call button. So now we got hang up, call button is next. Same thing, debounce it. And then calling phone. So next we want to call a phone when we press this button. So let's make a new I'll call it friend phone. And I don't want to actually put my phone number in here because I don't want people to call it. So instead I'm going to put in dial a song, which is a They Might Be Giants phone number that you can call up and listen to new songs by They Might Be Giants, and it's usually busy, so it's fine. Call them. At worst, we'll get a tune. If it's not busy, which it almost certainly will be, because it's always busy.
Okay,
Yeah.
one question. Are the tones embedded in the FONA module itself, and if so, assuming they're documented in the datasheet?
Yeah, there's a bunch of basically it's like a dial tone type tones, but you can also have it play frequency tones. So you can tell it I want to play a kilohertz tone, it will play a kilohertz tone. That's called sim tone. There's a couple different ways to do tones. It can also does a little bit of text to speech, so you can have it actually speak out numbers, which is a little weird. But I guess if you wanted to, you could have it so when an incoming call, it would say receiving call from 71831266670 or whatever, and it would speak out those tones. I haven't used the text-to-speech that much.
Okay, and then how do you know that you're connected to the cell network?
You can tell by querying get network status, and that sends the AT command to the FONA that says, hey, are you registered, are you registered, are you registered? And when it returns the number 1, it means it's registered. It's one of the multiple AT commands. You have every kind of command. And there's one for what's the signal level, or how many networks can I connect to, and what are the local and cell phone towers. Everything you could possibly want, you can query.
Okay.
Okay, all good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you press the calling button, I want it to say, okay, I'm going to call my friend. And then you'll enter whatever friend you want to communicate with. You'll put that in. And instead of calling hang up, we're going to use the function for calling a phone called FONA call phone. So all this stuff's kind of been done for you. It's pretty easy. So that's that. Call a phone. And this will return immediately, but then the phone call will be happening in the background. So you just have to kind of be aware, it isn't, you could wait in this loop, but I think it's better if you actually just return immediately, and then you can listen to the audio and it'll tell you what's going on. It'll ring, or it'll be busy, or it'll say call not valid, or whatever normally occurs, and then you can just hang up by pressing the hang up button. So this is a pretty good state. So let's go to the overhead and we'll wire these up. Okay, so
Do you want zoomed in or zoomed out?
this is fine. Okay, so we've got 2 buttons here, and let's connect this to ground because we're going to have these short to ground, and then goes to analog 0. And when Noah and Pedro make the final 3D printed case, they can adjust this however they want. Whatever pins they want to use, it can go to town. Okay, so one last thing I want to do. I don't actually do a full reset at the beginning of the sketch, and I do want to do that. I want to make sure that it is a proper reset. And I don't actually do a reset here. So what I'm going to do is, before I start, I'm going to do a pin mode, FONA reset output, and then I'm going to just quickly pulse it, I think low, maybe probably 50 milliseconds, and then high. Okay. So let's upload this and see how it goes. Oh, what's it called? Sorry, friend phone. Not my friend. What's neat is that even though you can get a super cheap cell phone that would you could use as a, basically you could like make a communicator case. You wouldn't have the simplicity of a single button. Oh, can we go to the computer? So, okay, I'm going to upload this sketch and see how it goes. And then one of the things I want to do is maybe have it like play the Star Trek theme when it starts up by just having like tones. I don't know. All right, uploading. Okay, so that it made a little beep because it said it's ready. And so now I get to actually press the button. So let's press the hang up button first because it's a little safer, just hanging up stuff. Okay, hanging up the phone. And when it detects that you press that button, it sends an ATH0, which basically stands for attention, hang up, and then 0 I think just means like no calls at all or something. I don't know what the 0 is there for. You can ask Mr. Hayes. And then we have the other button, which is, can you go to quad view maybe, or triple view? Triple view. Yeah. All right, so I press this button, and it hangs up the phone, and nothing. There's no calls going on, so nothing really happens. And then I press this button, and it's dialing the phone, and I immediately get an OK back, but it's busy. It's kind of a side effect of calling a busy number. But then we can hang up by just pressing the H. So that's kind of nice. Like if it's busy, you just press the hang up button. But I think we know it works. I mean, I could call. Saying who I could call without putting your phone number up there. Oh, whatever. I guess none. All right, because we don't have a forwarder, right?
Not one handy.
Yeah. All right. Some other day. But you'll have to trust me that that this works. Well, I can actually call it from this phone, but I'll have to do the pickup. So let's do the last button. So grab another tactile switch, and then so now we know it dials a number, nothing really occurs because the number is busy, but let's do the pickup. Okay, and then get any black wires? None. Okay, an opposite wire to ground. Okay, so now this is our third button, which will be used for answering. So that's the answer button. So let's make another chunk of, can we just go to plain copy? Okay, so we're going to do the answer button. Wait for it to be released, and then we'll say answering the phone. And then this function is called, I know it's ATA, but I don't remember, is it called pickup? Yeah, just FONA pickup. And then you can again use hang up when you want to hang up. So that's it, FONA pickup. Hang up, pick up, call phone. Pretty straightforward. So let's send that off to the Feather. Okay, and it's ready. So again, we can do, should get these buttons right. This is hang up the phone. And then if I press the answer one, it'll say no carrier because there's actually no incoming call. So like nothing occurs if you try to answer the phone, but nobody is there. So it's ATA, no carrier. So that's good. And then, of course, there's the call phone. But now I want to, I'll call the phone from this phone. So I learned how to use this phone. Send. Okay, so I'm now calling it from my phone. Let's see. So it has this like crazy ringtone, and it'll actually start saying ring ring. I'll change the ringtone later, but now you can press that third button, and it'll actually answer. So I'm actually on the phone talking to myself. It's a little creepy. And I don't want to have it too close because otherwise I could have feedback, but basically, you know, this phone talking to that phone. And then I can press the hang up button. Oh, sorry. There you go, hang up the phone. You can't dial a phone while you're calling a phone, but so that's that. But it's pretty straightforward. Basically, you have 3 buttons, one for calling, one for hanging up, and one's for answering. The only thing you want to do maybe is you can ask for the call status. So I accidentally pressed the call button while I was on the phone already, which is kind of like, I think it actually tries to like 3-way like merge dial. So what I want to do is check the call status, which I can do. Is it call status? Hold on. There was a helper I made. Oh, it might not be in here. It might be in, I think it's called, hold on. Let me open the library. Yeah, get call status. So get call status will let you know what's going on right now. So if you press the call button, instead of just calling the phone, I'm going to check. If FONA call status is not 0, which means basically ready, not ready to call, failing. So that will keep you from accidentally calling while somebody's input calling, which would be kind of weird, and then just return. So that's a good idea. Yeah. Okay. So that makes it a little bit more durable, but that's pretty much it. So the only other thing that, get call status. The only other thing I'll have to do is add a buzzer, like this little buzzer. So the question is, do we have a little bit more time, or should I?
Yeah, you have plenty of time.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
in the beginning, our mic, it did this thing with
Yeah.
things, so we have 10 minutes of echoing. So it sounds cool.
Oh, cool. Am I in space?
You were in space in the beginning.
Okay, well.
Yeah, but it was only for the first 10 minutes, and the rest of it is fine, and I learned a new trick.
What's the trick?
It's a trick.
Okay.
HDMI sucks sometimes. That's the trick.
totally sucks, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and do your thing.
All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is add this little vibration buzzer. So when you get an incoming call, it'll also vibrate. And then what I'll probably do is, you know, there's going to be, for ringtone, like, I don't know. There's probably something where you can tell it, like, I don't want when it, ringer level. So I can tell it, I don't want you to ring like that audio ring that was really annoying. Instead, I'd have it just buzz this buzzer. The original FONAs had a built-in driver for the buzzer because there's a PWM output. However, there isn't, I didn't bring those pins out, I didn't put the transistor on the Feather FONA. So what we'll do instead is hook up a transistor, which is not a big deal. So let's grab, where's my transistor party? Actually, grab myself an MPSA 2222. Okay. And I'll put that over here. So I'm gonna wire this buzzer up correctly. So I need a base resistor. Sorry, find something. Oh look, a 1.5K resistor, perfect. So it's emitter, base collector. Emitter goes to ground. Somehow I never have any black wires. I have like every other color wire except black. Like, how is that even possible? Okay, emitter goes to ground, and then collector will wire this up, and then I just need a diode. A plain 1N4818 works perfectly fine. And then we'll connect from here to here. And then, actually, let me connect from here to here. This will be my little flyback diode. I need a ground, got ground connected, and I need power. Connect power to 3 volt will be fine for this. You can also use VBAT. And then I have to just strip and tin these. So I'll be back in a second.
All right.
Yeah, I broke the wires off of this. So I'll do silent soldering. Or I can. Do you think
So
could you reach and bring this over?
Yeah, there were some suggestions for Star Trek sounds later too.
Yeah, I will grab them. I'm just gonna put this on the desk. Watch out, it's extremely hot.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, and I will bring this out. So what I really need is actually, so I can generate tones with this that are like frequency based. So I can say like play,
Yeah.
I can't tell it like play A, but I can tell it to play 440 hertz. So what I have to do is get like the do 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 or whatever, like the beginning, but get that in just simple tones.
So they could okay.
Maybe when it rings, it'll play that tone.
Yeah. So whoever wants to figure that out and help us out.
If you happen to have that, because it's like basically I need like the most simplistic.
Yeah. Post it in the comments after this video goes to YouTube.
Yeah, that would be well. I mean, you can tell like 5 seconds before we broadcast. I was like, oh, maybe I just had the idea. I was like, oh, I should have it so the ringtone will play that instead of the like jingle.
You can Google for it and just find it in a second. I'm sure.
I did, but actually all I found was like sheet music. All right, so I'm going to these wires are
they're not MIDI tones. What are they called? What do you think they're called?
Yeah, it's basically like MIDI.
Tones?
Like I basically want like single monophonic MIDI tones because this does not have the polyphonic synthesizer. I mean, like if you wanted to go crazy, you could use the PWM output from the 32U4 to generate a nice tone. But since I already have the
Here's the Star
speaker,
Trek MIDI page.
yeah, it's kind of what I want. I think everyone knows what I mean. I'm like, if I want like, I basically have to write a ringtone for this.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not polyphonic and it's not beautiful sounding. It's just gonna beep. Basically, it's just beeping. I mean, I could also just get a piezo and connect that up to this, and that would be probably just perfectly fine as well.
Okay. Well, if anyone wants to like type in the numbers, like is it just numbers that do this?
Yeah, if you know like the numbers, the frequencies. I don't know. I'll look it up. There's the Sim 800s actually have, a lot of capability. It's just it's sometimes a little bit of a excitement adventure digging through the AT command set to find out what exact command it is you want. Okay, so you've got this motor. So I'm going to hook it up to the collector. Go in. Oh, come on. Hold on, I need to get my pliers or something. We'll use tweezers. Okay, so yeah, I got the buzzer connected to, I'm going to power it from 3 volts. I think that's fine. I've got, actually, it's funny, the cellular module doesn't run off 3 volts. It runs off VBAT. So your 3 volt regulator actually has a tons of spare current, a current to spare. It's better to run off of that, I think. Then, I mean, USB won't be connected, and VBAT, I'd rather keep it off VBAT. Okay, so flyback diode, you got your emitter connected to ground, you've got your base, and then this doesn't need a PWM output, so I'm just going to connect this to A4. So back in code land, Okay, so can we go back to the compy? Okay, so back in Codeland, remember we set up that ring detect function? So the RI pin from the FONA, actually let's open up the schematic and we'll take a look. Original. So this is the cellular module up here. It's this huge long thing. You can see there's audio, PCM, keypad. There actually is the ability to do keypad. I mean, you know, it will do multiplexing for you. There's some GPIO. You can also very slowly query. And then there's this ring pin. So URI is the ring pin. When you get an incoming call or incoming SMS, that will actually pull low. It'll automatically go low and let you know that there's something coming in. So that RI is connected to digital 7 on the at Mega 32U4, which is, come on, where, it's over here, PE6, int 6. So it's actually called interrupt number 4 in Arduino land, but it's digital 7. So when that happens, I can detect like, hey, you know, if I want to set a flag, for example, ring detect, or I can also print out, hey, there's an incoming message. And what I'll do is set the buzzer pin to low. So, sorry, pin to high. So define buzzer A4. Sorry, A3. And in ring detect, I'll set this to be digital right buzzer high. So pull high, that will turn the transistor on, that will sync the current through the buzzer, and the buzzer will start buzzing. And I can also set up an interrupt for rising. I've never actually had true interrupts. Let's see what happens. No, actually, I don't think I can do this. I think I can only do falling, and then what I'll do is in the main loop, I'll just always turn this off. So normally it turns the buzzer off at all times, and so whenever the interrupt is falling, oh, and then I want to, actually I want this to be low. So whenever it's low, the buzzer will be on. So it'll only buzz when there's an incoming call. Otherwise, it'll turn the buzzer off. I think that's fine. I think it's a little easier than trying to keep track of falling and rising interrupts. Okay, so let's try that. Okay, and I got my phone. Okay, so ready to go, and then, oh, can you go to triple cam or overhead cam? So let me see if I can call this number and see if this works. So definitely it's saying it's low, but I think my main loop is running too often. Oh, you know what? I also didn't set it to be an output. Oh, I have to do that. Hold on. Yeah. And actually I want to put a delay. Well, let's see. Do I want to put a delay in the loop? I think I want to do this. The best thing would be is to, you know what I'll do? I'll check here if digital read FONA. If this is, if it's falling, it'll turn on if it's low, it'll turn on the buzzer. But if it's high, whenever the next time it detects that the pin is high, it will turn it off. That's probably the cleanest way of doing it. All right, so let's try again. Has anyone posted up those MIDI tones yet?
Yeah, I sent you an email if you
Oh,
want to
great.
go to just here you go. Go to your email client.
Oh well, let me try this.
There's a whole site.
Okay.
This site is Vic Fontaine, which was a character in Deep Space Nine that I didn't really like.
Yeah.
I think on a long enough TV run, everything just turns into the holodeck. This holodeck would not. I mean, is there any safety commissions? Like, you can't even have one of these hoverboards because they might catch on fire. The holodeck has caused more problems, and so is the transporters. These are not very safe things for the year 2500 or something.
You know what? This is like not going. Okay. Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn off that really annoying tone with ATCRSL equals 0. I think that's what I want. Ringer sound level. Because that's really annoying. Alert sound mode. There's so many different. But I think what I want is ringer sound level. So let me try that. FONA, print line, and then AT plus CRSL equals 0. That'll do it. It doesn't tell you that 0 is the lowest and 100 is the highest, but I'm going to guess it is. So let me just do that and get rid of the annoying beeping. Actually, let me. Okay. Try calling again. Okay, so it's calling, but I don't have that annoying like delete sound, which was really aggravating. And then the next question is, why isn't this turning on? Okay, so I'm going to, I should grab some stranded solid core wire.
Okay, well, while you're doing this,
I'm going to debug. I don't know, maybe this
so
transistor's
you're
busted or
not,
something. Yeah.
you haven't watched as much Star Trek as I have,
Yeah.
but you've watched some Star Trek.
Oh, you want to go to the over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you had to say a favorite character of yours that you've seen in Star Trek, do you have one?
I have not watched enough.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Riker's just funny.
Yeah.
From Next Generation. But, I mean, he's just funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not, like, because of the character, mostly because of the actor.
Yeah.
I mean, like, everyone likes Picard.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's, like, cheating. It's, like, it's too obvious. What's your favorite character?
So I'm gonna say that I think Geordi the engineer.
Geordi's pretty cool.
I did like Ben Sisko,
Yeah.
who's captain Deep Space Nine, which was a space station, but then later on there was a ship, the Defiant.
Yeah.
I like Worf.
War School. See, I don't even remember the names of these characters.
Yeah.
I'm like so out of it. It's been, decades since
Yeah,
I watched it when it was on broadcast TV.
I liked Tuvok on Voyager.
Yeah.
And
Okay, so first up, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this transistor out of here. And now that this is cleaned up a little bit, I'm just going to try making sure this buzzer even works. Okay, so the buzzer doesn't even work. Do I really need to have it be on 5 volt? Uh-oh, my antenna came off. Oh, you know what? It's just really loose, the wiring. Okay, what I gotta do is I have to solder stranded core wires on, or a solid core wire on. Because it was in the, even though it was in the breadboard, it was a little too loose. This is a little bit of the problem with having breadboards that use a lot of, because the springs inside get loosened up. So, let me. Okay, so it's one long wire. And this is kind of ganky, but I don't know, good enough. I mean, for the final design, it'll be soldered directly on to like a proto board or something.
yeah, in the chat I was saying there was only one Star Trek series I really couldn't get into.
Which was that?
Enterprise. It just was bad.
Which one was Enterprise?
Well, it was one of the more recent ones. And,
oh, it wasn't like the original. What was the original called? Just the classic? How do you refer to it?
Yeah, the first one was Star Trek.
Okay, just Star Trek.
Yeah, the original series. And then
Yeah, okay, so
the Next Generation and Voyager and Deep Space Nine. But man, Enterprise was really bad.
You always had this idea for, you really wanted to have like Star Trek Academy.
Yeah.
Like teen
Yeah.
Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been really cool. Okay, so now I've got this buzzer.
Scott Bakula was the captain.
Okay, this is going crazy. Okay, so that works now, much better. And then, whoa, oops. Accidentally pressed the call button. And then this is a 222A. I'm pretty sure it's emitter base collector. It's been a while. Okay. And then, did I get that wrong? Is this transistor not even working? Maybe I need a smaller resistor? Very weird. Let me get another one. One second. I have a big pile of. Okay, what? I guess 1.5K was just a little bit too big. And I switched it out for a 560 ohm base resistor and it's fine. I don't think that these use this much current, but maybe they do. Well, I also swapped out the transistor. Didn't know which one was the issue. Okay, so now that this mystery is resolved with heavier wires and new base resistor. I also cleaned up this wiring while I'm at it. So let's try calling this again. Recent calls, missed, send. So I'm not going to get, oh, can you go to the triple view, I guess? Yeah, so I'm getting ring, ring, it's ringing, and this is vibrating like crazy, which is awesome, but I'm not getting that unwanted dial tone, not dial tone, ringtone. And then to hang up, I just, oh, you know what, my loop is too fast. I gotta fix that. Hang up. Okay, Not ready to call. All right, so now actually the next thing I want to do is instead of this low interrupt, I actually want it to be a falling interrupt. I only have to have it occur once. And then here it'll only turn it off later, and then I'll be able to use the
Wow,
this
someone
loop.
just posted the numbers for the tune.
Oh, great. Maybe we'll just get this super tested, and then we'll change over. We're really close. We got the buzzer going. I don't have the ring going, and some calls missed. Oh wait, sent. Okay. Trying to call. Okay. Oh, you know what? That's weird. The buzzer didn't go off. You know what? I don't know if my interrupt is not, it could be pulsing or something. Well, I'm gonna do this. I might as well do it in the loop while I'm here. I don't really need to do an interrupt. Okay, so they said they had the tones.
Yeah, if
Okay.
if you want to go to your email, you can.
Numbers. So these are the frequencies?
I guess so. There's more numbers than we had before.
I mean, those don't seem like frequencies. Those are just random numbers, I think.
I don't know.
I mean, like
Stone in the chat, tell us what to do with these numbers.
What?
The fellow in the chat, his name is Stone, and I don't know what to do with these numbers.
I do not know what these numbers are. I mean, I can just play them and see.
Yeah, see what happens.
See what happens.
Yeah. What's the worst that can happen?
I don't know. So what I'm going to use to play these is you can have it.
Okay, I'm gonna go to your computer.
Yeah, play frequencies with SimTone. Yeah. So SimTone will generate a tone from 20 to 220 kilohertz for pretty much as long as you want.
Oh, they're consecutive notes, apparently.
Okay, well, I guess we'll just see what happens. And then I have to figure out how long that each one has to play for.
I don't think anyone's done this in like 10 years, so.
I know, right? Okay, so when I'm ready to call, I'll play Fona print. Well, I'll just do it manually, and then I can put it in a table and make it all happy. AT plus sim tone equals on. Start playing the tone, the frequency. So this person says 392. Okay, 392. Period on. On for 200 milliseconds, off for 0 milliseconds, and then total amount. Because I only want it on. I don't want it like tone on, tone off. Okay, so that's one tone. And then, or maybe, yeah, so they say, and then I'll put a slight delay in between. So, three nine two, 392, 392, and then 329. I actually think these are, I don't know that these are actual tones. We'll see. 493, 392, 329, 493, 392. All right, let's see what happens. So it'll come out of this speaker. Okay, maybe. I think I have to make the tones a little longer. So let me make them. Let's have them all on for half a second, and then off for 100 milliseconds. I haven't really used Simtone. Like, I use it during test, but
Getting there.
I mean, it's making a
Yeah,
song.
it's getting there.
Yeah.
It's obviously possible.
Yeah, it's possible. I just have to like, yeah, I mean, maybe they should be longer. I mean.
Yeah, we can play with them later. Okay, well, let's wrap up.
Okay, well, so I'm going to work on getting the tones I need the length of time as well. I'll look at the MIDI site. There's going to be someone somewhere that has calculated this. Maybe I'll test it on a piezo to start because it's a little easier. Like, you can use a piezo to generate the frequencies, and then I would go back and get it to play on the speaker via the AT Simtone command. But I did get it working with making phone calls, receiving phone calls, hanging up. Basically works overall. So I'll be able to send this code, and they'll basically get started with this. Like, whether or not I can get this like cute audio tune playing thing, it'll be fun, but I don't feel like it's a requirement for the project. So I'll send them this code, and then they'll continue working on the 3D printed part.
Yeah.
Which was here. And that'll have, they'll basically have the buzzer, the speaker, the antenna, the 3 buttons, and then they can have the LEDs light up. They can edit the code as they want to make the LEDs light up.
Yeah. Can you make that image go full screen without the email client on?
Dude, you're asking way too much out of Thunderbird.
Okay. Can you just drag it to your desktop and then show it in a preview? Minimize the mail client or something.
Hold on.
Okay, great. Oh no.
There you go.
Guess. Okay, so this is in progress.
Yes, this is the progress shot.
Yeah.
All 3D printed. I mean, yes, it's not going to have the exact metal casing and the.
No, this is cool.
But it's all 3D printed, which is neat, and it's going to work as a true communicator. And then these buttons are the buttons that Noah and Pedro will adapt to instead of the big buttons I have on this breadboard. But like just getting it prototyped, it gets it very far. And then it's going to have that same speaker, and then you'll just use it like a speakerphone.
Yep.
So I'll dial in, and it'll just be your number, and it'll just call you. When we land on the
Spock, 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 Spock.
Am I Spock or are you Spock?
I
don't want to be Troy. I mean, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, Uhura was a cool character.
Cool.
Yeah. I also like Barkley when he got turned into a super being. Like.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a pretty fun stream. So
yeah, it's cool.
That's a project in progress. So you see what it takes. It's a collaborative process. I'll do the code part. They'll do the 3D printing part, and then we'll mush it together, and it will be a wonderful project. So thanks for watching.
Okay, we'll see everybody during the week. Thank you so much. Desk of Lady Ada is provided and sponsored by you, the viewer. Please buy a kit or something, or some electronics, so we can keep doing late night broadcasts. All right. That's
Bye,
it.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Live long and prosper.
Spock.